Hi, I'm Tim Carter. This is Ask the Builder. Welcome. How are you today? I am happy to be here. And I even looked in the mirror and got my hair fixed a little bit. What do you say about that? I'm going to paste in really quickly what we're going to talk about today. This is a book that is I don't know, 105 years old, maybe 115 years old. Let me see here. Really a fascinating book. Might be a little too technical for you. I'm trying to get the here it copyright 1915. So 107 years old, 107 years old. So what I'm talking about, I know the glare. It's got a better cover. When you click that link, you're going to see better cover. Hydrated lime, history, manufacture, and uses in plaster, um, mortar, and concrete. Hard to read backwards on the screen. And this is a really interesting book. It's not that long. Got a lot of interesting photos. It could easily serve as a textbook in a college classroom, but you could skip past the complicated parts, and you'll get the gist of it. But it's it shows you how to make lime mortars. It's really an amazing book, to be honest with you. If remember how the live stream works here, if you happen to be new, the way the live stream works is I feed off of your questions and your comments. Hopefully, you've got a YouTube account. If you have a YouTube account, then you have permission to comment, over on the right or in the chat box. I think they call it chat, whatever. And you can drive the topic. In other words, the reason I do these live streams is I'm here simply as an unpaid expert, and no matter what problem you're having with your home, I'll do my best to help you solve it. No charge. You can't beat that, right? Make sure you do it. Make sure you go ahead and chat if you can. But the problem is if you don't have a YouTube account, you're stuck. And you can get a YouTube account. It's free. You don't have to upload any video. There are millions of YouTube accounts that have no videos uploaded. You have to come up with a username, and good luck with that, because all the standard ones are long gone. I can tell you that right now. But so it'll be really interesting to see what your username might be. Let's talk a little bit about another book that you should get, and you can get it for free. And I will put that link in here in just a minute. So you can get this book that I wrote for free, Roofing Ripoff. It's about why your asphalt shingles are falling apart and what you can do to make them last 40 or 50 years. It's a really small book, really easy to read. You can see how the spacing is on the lines. It just you could bang through this book in an hour, nothing to it. And it's not a textbook. It's actually kind of written a little bit like a little bit of a murder mystery. I'll put the link in so that you can get it right now. Here's the link to get that ebook, and you also get 7 other free files. So you get lots of free stuff. Can't beat that, right? Lots of free stuff. So just go there, go to that link, and good luck. Get the free Roofing Ripoff ebook, and you're going to be blown away. It's really, really simple what to do. I was just outside before. It's still cold here. I think the weather forecasters really got it wrong here today in New Hampshire, where I am. I'm in central New Hampshire. I live right on the shore of Lake Winnisquam. Lake Winnisquam froze over a week ago, and it was beautiful, beautiful, epic ice, just clear as glass, smooth as glass. It was that way for 4 days, and then Monday morning, early in the morning, the snow came, and we got about 11 inches, but then we got some rain, so it compacted it down to about 8 or 7. Thus, the ice is all snow covered now, and you're not going to see that clear ice again. It's over. It's done. Because even if it rained, if we got a big heavy rain, what happens is it just the layer of slush that's on top of the clear ice just turns to this cloudy ice. It's a shame. I was hoping that we weren't going to get any snow, because, boy, if it would have just gotten another 4 inches thicker, which would have happened pretty quickly, the ice boat guys would have been out, and boy, oh boy, they're really pretty cool. Um, those boats that they just got skates on them. They're just flying ice skates, and my gosh, they go fast. Oh my gosh, they go so fast. You just can't believe it. Remember, if you've got a question about your home, just put it in the chat. Happy to answer it. What I will do is we're going to talk a little bit about lime now, hydrated lime. And this book, it's really interesting. This it's a very thin book. It's only 100 and let's see, I don't know, not even 100 pages. Back in the glossary, it's like 95 pages. It starts out with a history, a history of lime, and it's just like I described yesterday in the live stream. What the author thinks happened is he calls them savages. All right, so you know maybe they were. What's the definition of a savage? Um, somebody you wander into their campsite, they might have killed you. They're not. It's throw spears, ask questions later. But he says, I'll just read the first few sentences because it's really good. He says, the use of lime as a binding material or mortar for holding together stone and brick originated in the remote past. It is probable some savages, having used stones composed of lime rock to confine their fire, that's exactly what I said, because I had read this book about 3 years ago, noticed that the stones were changed by the action of the heat. A passing shower, rain shower, slaked the lime to a paste. Thus, the discovery was made that the paste was smooth working and furnished a better material than clay to fill up holes and crevices in their crude dwellings. From the discovery of the fact that burnt limestone, or lime, he calls it lime rock, gave a material which slaked with water to a paste, it was but a step to the addition of sand in order to produce a mortar. So there you have it. In other words, I'm sure what happened, my guess would be the savages, when they were working with this putty, and that's what it's like. In other words, if you take hydrated lime, it's just a fine powder like flour, and you mix it with water, it turns into a putty, just like chocolate pudding. Just like it's about the consistency of pudding. And I'm sure somehow, they worked with it and they saw what it did, but then probably by accident, somebody ended up mixing a little bit in with some sand. And then they noticed, like, wow, this is even better, even stronger. And I just, that had to be how it happened. It just had to be. And it's just, that's the way a lot of things are discovered, quite by accident. It goes back thousands of years. In other words, we're not talking 150, 200 years ago. This plaster, this hydrated lime, this using lime, mortar, hydrated lime, goes back 4,000 years, 5,000 years. It's in the pyramids of Egypt. It's all over the early world. I mean, in the Middle East, it's everywhere. I mean, stuff is plastered. It's in Athens. It's everywhere. Here's what you need to understand about it. It really helps to have paid attention a little bit in high school chemistry, and even if you took college chemistry, physical. I'm talking physical chemistry. I actually wish I would have done better. It's one of those things when you're that age, you just think, how am I ever going to use this? Well, turns out you end up using it. What happens is, so think of limestone. So the limestone, what its chemical formula is CaCO3. So that's got just 3 elements in it: calcium, carbon, and oxygen. So Ca is the calcium, C is carbon, and O is oxygen. When you heat up, so when you add, so think about what happens when you add heat to water. So it'll start to boil if you get it hot enough. When you add heat to the limestone, that's just pure calcium carbonate. If you get it hot enough, what happens is you break apart the bonds, and you break off the carbon dioxide and it literally just floats up into the air. So all that's left behind is a very unstable chemical compound. It's Ca, calcium, with one oxygen, very unstable. And to give you an analogy, it would be like you think how unstable you would be if you went down to the main street in your town and you took off all your clothes. You would be like, you would be, you'd be not very happy. You would not be very happy. And so that's what happens with different chemical compounds and actually just different atoms. For example, I'll give you another example. So copper is a really good example. People love, some people, not all people, some people love bright, shiny copper. Well, what you need to understand is that's when you take copper and you polish it and you get it nice and bright and shiny like a new penny, it chemically it's unstable because copper prefers to be oxidized. It prefers to grab onto oxygen ions, and when it does, it changes color. It goes to like a nut brown, and then eventually it'll go to the patina, the green, the green that a lot of people like. So the calcium oxide, so CaO, is chemically unstable. So it wants to get dressed. Basically, it wants to get its clothes back on. And water is really good. It loves water. And so when you add water to it, it's called slaking it. And what's very interesting so remember, to produce the calcium oxide, we had to add heat. Remember, we had to add heat. Chemical reactions they actually go in reverse. When you add water, it creates what's called an exothermic chemical reaction. And as you add the water to the hydrated lime, to the calcium oxide, it gets hot. It actually heats up. And if you've ever worked with, a really good example of that is if you buy a bag, you can go to Home Depot or Lowe's, buy a bag of Durabond 45. It's basically a product that's got some lime in it, and if you mix up some Durabond 45, and as it starts to get hard, if you hold it, you'll notice it's warm. I mean, it's warmer than when it was mixed, and so it's just a very neat example of a chemical reaction. What's the end result? Why is this so important? What is so important about lime? Why would you go, well, what's so big deal, Tim? What about the lime? What's important about it is when you take the hydrated lime and you add water to it, and then if you add a little bit of silica sand, fine silica sand, you are basically you're recreating the limestone that was used to make the lime. All right. So here you've got this. I mean, think about it. You've got this liquid. Well, not really a liquid. It's like, once again, it could be the consistency of icing, like cake icing or pudding. And here you've got this rock in this flexible plastic state that you can trowel on. And when it then cures, an hour or so later, when the chemical reaction advances and enough crystals form, it literally is as hard as rock. All right. So because that's why if you go into an old home that has plaster walls and you try to hammer a nail into real plaster, you're probably going to bend the nail because you're trying to nail it into rock. Think about that. Think of now, let's take it one step further. Yes, I was just going to talk about that, Dominique. Whitewash. So what's happened, there's the crutch word. Unfortunately, one of the cable television networks has really kind of bastardized the word whitewash. You can watch some fancy television shows now, and people say, oh, let's put some whitewash on. Let's do whitewash. And what they do is they grab a can of paint and they add a bunch of water to it and thin it down. So it's basically just thinned down paint. That's not whitewash. Whitewash is hydrated lime, and you just mix it up and you make it maybe a little thinner so that it's basically the consistency of paint, and you can paint it on very thin. The coating would only be a 32nd of an inch, maybe as thick as a 16th of an inch. And same thing, think about it. you're putting rock onto whatever you're painting it on. How durable is rock? And especially limestone. We use limestone is used in buildings that are thousands of years old. It's extremely durable. It's used in many, many, many government buildings. It's just such an incredibly durable, long-lasting stone. It's not as long-lasting as granite. Okay, I'll grant you that. But it's really durable. Going to last a long time. Surely going to outlast you and several other generations. Thus, if you and get this, and I have columns on the website about this. You can go to my site, askthebuilder.com, and just type in whitewash. I've got the recipe there. I show you exactly how to make it. And here's the best part about it. It doesn't have to be white. You can add dry shake pigments. You can literally add dry pigments, any color, and you can colorize the whitewash. So if for example, you want to paint your home, and it sticks really well to wood, like if you have brand new wood and you want to paint your house and probably never have to paint it again, might want to whitewash it. And like I said, comes all different colors. Now, if you're going to do that, here's the quick tip. Don't just mix it up and put it on. Buy $50 extra of siding, build a little temporary wall that's maybe 4 feet high, a little temporary wall that's got the same exact siding. And then whitewash the little sample wall and see if you like it. Get your technique down. Learn how to do it. Don't start experimenting on your home. I think you're going to be surprised. Well, look who's here. Hi, Shannon. How you doing? Great to have you here. Exactly. Let's get the party started. It's a little slow today. That's okay. I'm carrying all the water. Looking for some questions. If you've got any questions about your home, just put them in the chat. Happy to help. But that's basically all I really wanted to talk about as far as the lime. It's just it really makes a fantastic mortar for brick. In other words, years ago, understand that 150 years ago, if you go to old historic homes, for example, in Williamsburg, anywhere in Boston, the old buildings in New York City, all the old cities east of the Mississippi, where brick was laid in the 1700s, early 1800s. That's all lime mortar. That's not the mortar that you buy today at the brick and mortar stores. It's got Portland cement in it, because understand, Portland cement wasn't even discovered until the late 1800s. And hydrated lime mortar, where you just mix the lime with the sand, it's actually kind of neat. It's got a self-healing property, meaning if the mortar gets a very small, fine crack in it, it can actually heal itself. It can actually, I know it sounds crazy, but it can repair itself. And you won't get that with Portland cement mortars. Anyway, crutch word. If you got a question, put it in the chat. I'm happy to answer whatever you have got going on. What do I want to tell you? I am busy working on both the Ask the Builder website and the Stain Solver website. I am also this weekend putting the finishing touches. I started writing this ebook a year ago, and I just kind of got disinterested, and it was brought to my attention that I really need to finish it. And I'm 99% finished. I just have to kind of edit it and do a few illustrations. But it's a book about sewer gas, and it helps you diagnose how to locate a sewer gas leak in your home. So it's not going to be really long. It won't be anywhere near as long as the roofing ripoff book. But what's nice about it is I just kind of take you down the pathway and ask questions, and then the way you answer the question depends on which way you go down the path to help you locate the source of the odor. But I got to draw a couple of pictures, little couple of illustrations for it. Should be done. But I'm going to try to get that done this weekend, because the weather, winter is here. Winter is officially here in central New Hampshire. Let me tell you, if the forecast holds. I looked at the forecast out the next 10 days. Fortunately, once again, I don't know if it's going to hold true. Fortunately, there's no real snow in the forecast, but cold. Every night it's going to be single digits. and the next couple of nights it's going to be down below 0. So that's cold. That's cold. I don't care what anybody says. If you have any questions about that, happy to answer. Just before the live stream, I actually went outside. I know this sounds crazy, but it wasn't above freezing. It was a little below, but I got out the garden hose and hosed off my truck. It was just a mess. I had to go to town a couple of days ago, and they had just salted the roads. There was my burgundy truck, my truck, which is red. I mean, it's a burgundy. It's like a wine red metallic. It looked like it was a white truck. I mean, I'm serious. There was so much salt on it, and I hate that. And I try to keep all the salt off. And I also spray a lot underneath. I do a good job. My truck, if you saw my truck, you would never believe that my truck is 13 years old. I'll tell you that right now. It's a 2009. It looks brand new. Well, we've got a lot of people. I have to congratulate you. I really do. You live in a house that has no problems. There aren't many of you. You've got no problems, nothing going on. It's awesome. I think that's great. So what I'm going to do, I think I will go. I'm going to open up my email, and I will read to you a couple of people who do have some problems. There's people that I get questions all the time. Some of them are very unusual, and others are. I don't know. I had one the other day. Well, actually, I got a really interesting comment on one of my videos, one of my older videos yesterday. What was it? It was somebody wanted to know something about oh, I know exactly what it was. This gentleman had watched my video about the bathroom fans. And this is a neat fan. It's a fan that you can a lot of people don't like bathroom fans because they're noisy. In other words, you flip on the switch and you hear like a miniature leaf blower, up in the ceiling. Well, what if I told you didn't have to have that? What if I told you could put the fan that's making all the noise 20 feet away or 30 feet away and basically make the fan operate just like a remote central vacuum cleaner? Think how those work. You've got the suction motor, you've got the motor, the vacuum creator that it could be 50 feet away from where, the outlet is on the wall. Why not do the same thing with a bathroom fan? And what the guy asked me, really interesting, is he wanted to know, he goes, well, how long can the pipe be between the fan and the bathroom? Great question. Great question. I told him that. I said, this is a great question. I said, but it's also an amazing teaching moment. And I love this. I love to be able to do that. So I didn't really take him to the woodshed, but I told him right away, I said, don't you ever trust. When you ask a question like this, I said, when you ask a question like this, don't ever trust what anybody on YouTube says. I don't care who they are. I don't care if they're heating and air conditioning guy. I don't care who they are. I don't care if it's some remodeling contractor who's put 50 of them in. You know why? He may have put all 50 in wrong. So there's only one place to go to get that answer. Who would that be? All right. I know you know it. The manufacturer. So I told him very likely if you open up the installation instructions for this fan, at some point early on, it tells you the maximum length that you can put the duct in, 30 feet, 40 feet, whatever it might be. That's really important. You need to do the same thing. All right. So let's here's an interesting one. This is from Kathy, and she lives in Orlando, Florida. And she said, I had water intrusion a year ago due to an air conditioner drip and water softener next to the house. And there was a hole in the wall. All was sealed outside, but with Sealcrete waterproof and painted outside, then epoxy garage floors. The epoxy floor bubbled and cracked, and efflorescence is coming through. No water, just white powder. I rejected the AC and water softener discharged in the driveway and see no moisture outside. Sprinklers don't hit the area. Not sure why I still see the powdery deposit. I sweep it away weekly. Well, the answer is, Kathy, what I told her, I just said, the moisture could just be coming from the soil. And I told her, go back to the website, read all of the efflorescence columns that I have there. So she probably did that. All right, let's get caught up. Jason, hello. Will, welcome. Glad you're here. I'm just killing time because everyone that's watching, their houses are perfect. They've got no issues with their homes. So I'm going and I'm reading emails of people who do have problems, and you can commiserate with them. Okay, let's see. It's dormices. It's DOR. Wow, self-healing. I didn't know that. I have to paint the basement walls with lime wash. It will have to go on damp walls. Yes, it's going to work perfect. That's actually best. Just make sure you brush the walls off. Just get off any dust or whatever. But the fact that they're damp is going to be amazing. It's going to be perfect. Same old thing. Mix up a small test batch and put it on, with one of those big wallpaper brush things, and till you get your technique down. If you make it too thin, it's not going to work. If you make it too thick, it's going to be hard to work with. So you got to kind of get your technique down. So just mix a small batch up and go over into the most remote corner that you never go to or rarely go to. And that's where that's going to be your sandbox. That's where you're going to learn how to do it. And then once you really master the technique, whatever the most visual part of the basement, that you see all the time, that's the last you want to do. I mean, because by that time you'll be an expert and people will marvel at what you can do. And remember, if you want it white, awesome. It can be white, but if you want to make it a different color, I don't know, ivory colored, pink, you can make it pink. If you want blue walls, gray, whatever color you want, you can do it. And I've got links to those pigments on my Ask the Builder website. Just go read all my whitewash columns. Everything you need is right there. Let's see. All right. I did. Let's see. Did you have another question up above? Well, yeah. Oh, here comes Kathy down the driveway. So anyway, hope she doesn't slide around. I actually had to put some salt out today. The temperature was kind of getting up. It's going to be really cold the next 10 days. So I was trying to get a little bit of the thin ice off the steep part of our driveway. I did a pretty good job today. Anyway, what else did I want to tell you? Well, if you're on my newsletter list, I mean, Will would know this. I did see dormices. I don't know if I'm pronouncing right. DORMICES. Dormices. I am not seeing a question. I see where you say it makes a jolly good paint as well. And then you say self-healing, you say it will have to go on damp walls. Will it still work? Yes, I answered that actually. I said, yes, it will actually work to putting it on damp walls. Now, the walls will potentially still be damp after you put it on. The whitewash is not going to stop the dampness, but the whitewash will stick to the damp walls as long as they're clean and as long as there's no dust on them. And actually, the dampness will actually help the whitewash cure. So yes, it's going to work well. It's going to work great, but they're still going to be damp. If you want to stop the dampness, you can only do that from outside. You have to damp proof the outside. If you have any questions, put them in the chat, just like Dormices is, and I will be happy to answer it. In the meantime, I'm going to go back and we're going to look at another. We're going to get another really good email that's come into the Ask Tim page. It asked the thing. Let's see here. There's all different ones. This is probably a good one because this is a guy that I told he's got to do a consult call. Yeah, he never got back with me. This is I shared this one already. I remember I did this in a live chat. I did this in a live stream last week. I'm not going to do that again. There's so many. Here we go. Let's try this one. This is from Jim in Sylvania, Ohio. And I think Sylvania, I think it's a suburb of Cleveland. He goes, I live in a 35-year-old home, and in the past 2 years, the water pipes have started trumpeting. Whenever hot water is shut off after a shower or a load of laundry, it sounds like a foghorn blowing and lasts several seconds, then quits. It's even starting to do it after running cold water sometimes. Sounds a little bit like water hammer. And when he calls this trumpeting, what it could just be a low frequency vibration. And in other words, when think of the once again, this is a great example. This is a great if you've been watching these live streams for a long time, then you know I've said this 10 times. It all goes back to you paying attention. So he didn't pay attention, or if he did, he forgot it. He didn't pay attention in high school physics class. All right. So do you remember that formula? It's a real simple formula. Force equals mass times acceleration. All right. So force equals mass times acceleration. So the mass is water, and we know water's heavy, right? Think how heavy water is. I mean, a cubic foot of water weighs 62.4 pounds. And you've got a lot of water in your pipes. I mean, it doesn't take long to have a cubic foot of water. So, and the water's moving really fast, right? Think of how fast the water shoots out of your garden hose. And if all of a sudden you've got this water rushing down the line, and you turn the valve off really fast, as washing machines do, and ice makers and refrigerators, man, the water just crashes. I mean, all that water. It's like having a freight train. Think about that. Think of a giant long freight train crashing into a wall. You've got all that energy of the cars. So all of that water energy that's moving towards the valve, boom, it hits. It's got nowhere to go. So it starts shaking the pipes. And depending on how much it shakes and how fast it was going and all these other things, that creates the sound that he's talking about. So you can alleviate a lot of that with just an expansion tank. You can put an expansion tank on the line, so that gives the pressure someplace to go. It's a place for the pressure within the system to relieve itself. All right, here we go. Dormesis, you've typed your question twice. I answered you. I'm going to tell you, you need to go back and watch the live. You need to go back and watch the first, I don't know, from minute 15 until minute 22. That's where your answer is about putting it on your basement walls. I've already done it. Will says, have an unheated breezeway off the kitchen, which connects to the garage. Basement access is under the breezeway, also from garage. Which way should insulation vapor barrier be under the breezeway floor? The vapor barriers are always put on the warm side. They're put on the warm side. Got that? So, and actually, what I would probably do if I were you, if you've not bought the insulation, I probably would put in unfaced. Just put in just fiberglass bats with no vapor, because you already have vapor going up through anyway right now. I mean, if it's uninsulated, any water vapor that's down there is already going up. So, but if you want to stop it, you can put unfaced bats in, and then you could cover the whole thing with plastic. I don't know who Al Doogie is. I don't even know what that comment means. We're probably going to get rid of that comment because it doesn't make any sense. You're welcome, Will. I don't know what. I don't know. Well, why don't you take care of Al Doogie's comment? Just get rid of it, because yeah, thanks. It wasn't adding any value. I really only want comments that are going to add value. And I've said it before. We want to stay away from all the crazy topics. It doesn't move the ball down the field, Oh, I get it. I see. Okay, now it makes sense. Okay. I didn't have the context. Now I understand why you're here. Okay, I get it. I get it. All right. Anyway, we don't need to talk about our president. Just some people like him, some people don't like him, and the people that like him are going to continue to like him, and the people that don't like him are going to continue to not like him. So it doesn't do any good to talk about it. All right. Al, if you've got a question, you know what to do. Type it in. I'm happy to answer any questions. But, you know, don't ask me any questions about our president. I just don't. It doesn't matter what I think. Doesn't matter. I wrote that the other day in the newsletter. I said, I've been saying it doesn't matter a lot. Oh my gosh. Oh, here's something that's kind of interesting. You might find this interesting. Let me grab it. So look what I got from Amazon the other day. Flipping hypodermic, a hypo. But what would it be for? It's for these fountain pens. So I have a couple of fountain pens that you kind of have to fill the cartridge. So you have to use a hypodermic needle that's got a special needle that is blunt. So these needles don't have a sharp point, and that way you can suck the ink out of a bottle and then put it into the very tiny thin cartridge. So tomorrow I'm going to be doing that, and it happens to be a pen, my favorite pen right here, one that my daughter gave me. It's beautiful. It's a wood. It's a walnut. It's a walnut. That's walnut. Beautiful, very fine nib. I'll try to hold it up so you can see it. I'll put it over there. I know that it's getting blown out by the thing, but real fountain pen, the old fashioned ones that you had in grade school. They're really neat. And I like to do a lot of cursive writing. And, you know, as we move farther down the timeline, if you want to send a secret coded message, all you have to do is do it in cursive writing, because I don't think they're teaching it in school. I don't think they make kids write cursive anymore. I mean, do you know any kids that can do cursive writing? Think about that. So anyway, all right. Now we're starting to get people are starting to warm up. Let's get to some questions here. Rob. Well, first I'll get in Al's question. Al's question says, putting in a heat pump water heater into a conditioned attic. Okay, how should I treat the floor insulation below it? Well, if it's a conditioned attic, I would assume that on the underside of the attic, Al, that you have that you've got a vapor barrier in, although you shouldn't have one. The way we deal with condensate, the way we deal with water vapor is, you want the water vapor to go through the insulation. You're supposed to have a 2-inch air gap between the insulation and the underside of the roof sheathing, and you're supposed to have really great airflow over the top of the insulation so that the water vapor can get out. So that's how you're supposed to deal with it. That's how you deal with it. In other words, if you try to capture that water vapor in the attic, and you don't do a good job, something goes wrong, or it gets really, really cold, you could have condensation happening on the cold side of the vapor barrier. So you just want the water vapor to go outside. Well, if you don't want condensation to build up, then like I said, you basically just go to my website, Al, and read all of my columns about ventilation. I cover this, and the best thing up on the roof that you could have are the turbine vents. You know, some people call them whirlybirds, because they move in just the slightest breeze, and when they're moving, they're vacuuming air out of your attic. They're the best. The little whirlybird turbines are the best. And you know, your house might need 2. We put on 5 of them on my daughter's new home, 2 above the garage and 3 above the main part of the house. And they're just working fantastic. Okay. Rob says, how do I get a new doorknob installed to replace the old and be able to rekey it into match my other doorknob? I think it had I had a Schlage last time, so I guess I might need a Schlage. Yes. So that's exactly where you start. In other words, you you have to you have to get the same, the same key shape. It's that simple. So you've already answered the question. Well, let's see. I think Quickset, there is a Quickset came out with a system about 2-3 years ago that allows you to kind of rekey locks, but it's the same thing. You have to be on their system, and I have it on my tool cabinet. I have a Quickset key locks on my stainless steel tool cabinet, and if I want, I can rekey those to the same key that works my front door. Odds are you're probably going to have a professional do it. So, not that hard. Doesn't take those guys long at all. All right, Rob says no. Can pretty much any exterior door lock be rekeyed? Any door lock that has that I don't have one in front of me. I always leave my keys downstairs. So we're talking just about a regular key. All right, a regular key that comes with a Schlage or Quickset or any other door. Yes, any locksmith. You take it to a locksmith, they can rekey it. They can rekey it. That's child's play to them. There's nothing to it. Probably takes them 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Oh, I got it. All right. Dormancies. I understand. No problem. It's not a problem. Okay, so Al wants to know about the floor. So the floor, okay, Al, don't worry about the floor, because let's get back up to your original question. You put in a heat pump, so that you've got a conditioned attic. If you have insulation in the floor, when you say conditioned attic, you must mean that the attic is in the 50-degree range. I'm just guessing, where you want to keep the house at 72. If that's the case, then you're going to have some insulation in the floor of the attic to try to keep the house more comfortable, so less heat gets up there. You do not put a vapor barrier there. Never ever put vapor barriers in ceilings. And the floor, the floor of the attic is the ceiling of the downstairs. No vapor barrier. And if you want to know why, just go to my website and read about it. You need to let that air. You need to let the condensation or the water vapor get up through into the attic and out of the attic. That's your goal. Huh. Oh my. Look who's here. Steve's here. But the heat pump will bring the temperature down. How's the heat pump in the attic going to bring the temperature down? The condensing unit's outside. What am I not getting? What am I not? I don't. You've got your air. It sounds to me like you have your air handler inside the conditioned attic space, but outside is the actual heat pump. The only thing that's up in the attic would be your air handler and an A coil that's bringing the heat from the outside back in. It's not. There's no water vapor involved in that whatsoever. You're welcome. Just remember, Al, that if you need really detailed help, I offer phone coaching. So very affordable. We can cover a lot of ground on the phone in 15 minutes. And then with me being able to hear your voice and not limited to 200 characters, I can more clearly understand your questions. Got it. All right. Yeah, but I understand now. I understand that the unit is outside. Your unit is outside. Just like the air conditioning condensers and the compressor things outside. So, all right. So tell us what's so historic about the UK. What happened over there today? See, we're like ostriches over here with our heads in the sand. We don't know what's going on. Okay. Al, I think what we ought to do is you need to jump on a phone call with me, because it's getting pretty complex, and complex situations like this is really not the venue. This chat stream is really difficult. It's really hard for me to understand exactly what you're trying to say, believe it or not. So probably best to do a phone call, one of my phone calls. Just look it up on my shopping cart. All right. So, Steve, tell us what happened in the UK today. Can't wait to hear. Yeah. And if you're not happy, Al, with the call, I just give you your money back. I've only had one person in 15 years ask for their money back. So I'm pretty confident you're going to be happy. Okay. What? Are you, Steve, are you serious? I mean, that's all great news, man. If that's true, you're welcome. You're welcome, Al. You're welcome. Thanks for being here and stop by anytime. I mean, are you kidding me? I cannot wait to see this. That's fantastic news. I don't know why. See, this just goes to show you, and I don't understand why. In a nutshell, why was Boris Johnson bad? What I mean, it's like anything else. I know people love him over there, or people hate him. I mean, so what was the bad thing that he was doing? I mean, what didn't people like about, or what don't you like about Boris? It's kind of interesting. I I like his hair. That's all I can tell you. I like everything about his hair. Okay, Josh, the unit Al's talking about is all-in-one unit for heating water. But Josh, I don't think that's what he said. Oh, here you go. You are right. He says putting in a heat pump water heater into a conditioned attic. You're right. All right. I completely missed that. I got it. I so there's nothing going on then. I mean, okay, so he's got to be kidding. I know. Well, that's what I thought. So Josh, exactly. It's like a mini split. So all happening is that you've just got this little unit on the wall about the size of a carry-on luggage, and it's just getting the heat, quote unquote heat, from the outside and making the magic happen inside. It's not adding any water vapor to there's no water vapor involved. Nothing. There's nothing happening with respect to water vapor in that situation. Oh, I get it. I think parties. Well, yeah, exactly. And that's why. So that's why I was talking to a friend of mine in California today, and a woman that's a little older than I am. She's the mother of a friend of mine, and she's not in great health. And I had to call her and tell her something, but she did not know that I had COVID back in August. And she said, "Oh, did you have to go to the hospital?" And I said, I was not going to ever go to the hospital. She said, "Well, what happened if you get really bad?" And I said, "Well, I wanted to die with my family around me. I didn't want to die alone in a hospital bed hooked up to a ventilator that I didn't need." And she did, I don't know that she had thought that through. I said, I want to die with my family next to me. So, you know what? This whole thing, man. Anyway, if it's a historic, let me tell you, after the live stream, I'm going to go read about this. I want to see what's going on. In fact, I'm going to click my news source right now. Let's see if it's in the world news thing. I know Steve's never going to lead us astray. He may be a little bit of a jokester, but I don't think he's going to lead us astray. Come alive here, news thing. Come alive, come alive. Maybe they've cut off the news. So we'll have to do it over. Anyway, sometimes I just get so aggravated at here we go. World news. Let's see what's going on here. World news. Come on. Sometime today. Oh, you're exactly right. I see it on the breaking news. Britain ends all COVID. It's right there. I mean, it was just right there. I should have gone back. You're exactly right, Steve. That's amazing. Good for you guys. Britain ends all COVID passports, mask mandates, work restrictions. Hallelujah. Man, I would say that's good news. That is historic. Wow. Good for you. Good for you. That's great. I think it's all falling apart over here. And I wrote a really interesting. I'll share it today. I wrote a really interesting letter to the editor, and it was published yesterday. And here I'll give you the. I think this will work. So try this link and tell me if that works. All right. So, and you'll end up at a kind of a funky website, and it's a local newspaper. And at the top, or maybe in the right hand column at the top, you'll see the most recent issue that just came out yesterday. So you got to click that. It then opens up in the middle to like a viewer. And if you click the right arrow to get to page 2, you'll see my letter to the editor. It's the first letter to the editor. It's called How to Grow Mushrooms. So read that. Read my letter to the editor about how to grow mushrooms. It's a completely true story. And here's the interesting thing. I had sent that same letter to the local hard newspaper about 10 days ago, and they lean the other way and they refuse to print it. So that's I mean, and I don't think a lot of people understand that. Here I'm still write a syndicated newspaper column. At least here in America, what's going on, there is a lot of censorship in the papers, meaning if you think that all the letter to the editors are making it or getting printed, you're dreaming. They're not at all. I know. Well, Steve, you need to understand that you you need to understand that there's a lot of people. I mean, just look at, not to talk politics, we're just talking facts here. Just look at Biden's approval rating. All right. I mean, his own party is abandoning him. The independents are abandoning him. I mean, and I'm not trying to turn this into a political. We're just talking facts. I mean, they take polls, and I could see it happening before the election. In other words, he wouldn't tell you where he stood on anything, but I knew. And then once, there were no tough questions in the debate, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, it's just that people are now seeing what's going on. Anyway, well, the name of the paper was the Weirs Times, WEIRS, and then Times. I'm sure that was the right URL. Let me get it. I'm positive this is it. I'm just pulling it up myself, and then I'll make sure it works. Yeah, that's it. I typed it in correctly. And like I said, I'm looking right at the page right now. And in the right-hand column, it says online edition. And you want the edition that's January 20th, 2022. And it's got like a yellow gold photograph, some kind of photograph. And you have to click that, and then it loads. You have to click that to load up the reader. So I have the right URL there. So go do that, and then read my letter to the editor about how to grow mushrooms. Yeah. Anyway, so congratulations is all I can say. Boy, let's hope that it catches on over here. So, what I can't wait to see is what the heck is going on in Australia. Oh my gosh, it's the exact opposite. I thought that the Queen has got power over all of her holdings still. I mean, the Queen, your Queen Elizabeth, she's still on the money in Australia and New Zealand and Canada and wherever else, down in the Caribbean. So how come she can't bang some heads together? The topic of the topic of the letter to the editor was about I had to go to a local office supply store about 2 weeks ago, and I had to go that morning. My wife, I needed a part to her computer. It was a snowstorm going on. I didn't care. I've got a big 4-wheel drive truck. I can drive it. I like driving in the snow, not a problem. Yes, exactly. I know she is. I know she is. I know that the queen is. And I walk into the store, and of course, all these employees, it's a big national chain here in America called Staples. And all of the employees, all these young people are wearing masks. And this this young woman, the cashier says, there was no sign on the door, but she just said, "Where's your mask, sir?" She was very polite. And then that's the start of the letter to the editor. I really don't want to ruin it. You need to read it, but that's the setting. And then it's just and it's very what's the word I want to use? It's a very descriptive analogy of exactly what's happening all across America. That's why I wrote the letter to the editor. Is I had a prime example of what's going on not only in America but across the whole world. It's a really interesting letter. But so just go there. Go to that website I just typed up there. I've got it. I've got the link right there. HTTP. I'll do it again. I'll copy and paste it's the same exact URL. But like I said, in the right column, when you get to that page, in the right column, there's a column that says online edition. So there's like a little thumbnail of the actual front page of the paper, the newspaper. You got to click that. You got to click that, and then like an online reader comes up, and then click the right button or the right arrow to get to page 2. You got to get to page 2. And magic's going to happen. Then you'll see it right there. It's the headline is How to Grow Mushrooms. So read it. Read it. Yeah, of course it will. Will. You know it will. You know it will. All right, Steve, we need an update. Steve, don't go away. We need an update from you, if you can, about when you think we're going to do the Zoom call. That would be cool. I mean, if you can, don't let that get away from us. I mean, we want to do the Zoom call. All right. So just think about that. You don't have to answer here, but just think about when that might happen. That'd be nice to know. What else did I want to say? So if you have any questions seriously about your home, whatever it might be, put it over in the right column. Happy to help you. I read Al's too fast. I mean, he was putting in Josh called me out on it, rightfully so. He's putting in a water heater that works just like a heat pump. And the bottom line for that is that whole process is not going to create any water vapor at all. What does create water vapor, so you know, is when you burn a fuel. For example, if you have a fire in your home, if you have a fireplace, or if you just had an open fire in your house, that creates water vapor. Water vapor is a byproduct coming off the fire. It's a byproduct of burning natural gas or propane. I mean, you should see all the water vapor that comes out of my my exhaust pipe on my combi boiler, my high efficiency boiler. I mean, it's just, when you burn, we have problems here in America where people have big time. They're called orphan chimneys, where in the old day, the chimneys in these older homes were built for a furnace that was very inefficient and was sending a lot of heat up the chimney. People take out the old furnace, they put in a new modern high efficiency furnace that pipes out through the wall. They abandon the chimney, but the water heater still goes into the chimney. Well, the trouble is that if it goes into the same flue, and sometimes they did, now you've got this tiny poured little water heater, and it's sending the water vapor up, but the chimney is cold. The chimney used to be kept warm by the furnace, by the exhaust, but the water heater doesn't produce enough heat because it's not on long enough. And what happens then, the water heater starts to shoot its stuff up in the chimney, and it immediately condenses on the cold sides of the chimney, and you have water just pouring into the basement. They're called orphan chimneys. Yes, yeah, you do. So you don't need to don't give me your email address here, for God's sakes. Don't do that. Just email me privately like Will does. So Will and I are emailing back and forth pretty regularly. Lorene emailed me about 10 days ago. She needed some help with a fireplace insert. So you know what to do. You know how to get in touch with me. Come on. It's how simple as my email address, tim@askthebuilder.com. All right. Nothing hard about it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it would be great to have your wife on it. That'd be awesome. Kathy won't be. Kathy is not ever going to. The only person she ever does FaceTime with is our granddaughter. That's it. Uh, all I can tell you is it's going to be a blast. And you already know that. It's going to be it's going to be a fun time. It's going to be really great. Okay. You missed this, Steve, real fast. I talked about this at the beginning of the live stream. It's an old book. I know you can, if you want to have an actual paperback, you can buy them on Amazon. I have a link way up at the top of the chat. But you can get this book for free in PDF version online. There are websites that I think even Google does it. They take all these out of print books, even ones where the copyright is expired, and the copyright expired on this one. Because the book's 107 years old. Here in America right now, our copyright law is author's life plus 75 years. All right. So all of the stuff I've created, gosh, if I live another 4 years or 3 years, which I intend to, it won't be until 2100 that my stuff could be used out in the public domain. Yep. Thank you, Will. Getting rid of that. So Steve said how. I don't know what that means. How what? I've lost the context of your question. If it's about email, you know how to email me. Just send me an email, tim@askthebuilder.com. tim@askthebuilder.com. So that's my email address. Boy, that is I still can't get over your news. That is one. Wait till I tell Kathy. Woo. That's really big news. I mean, that is so big. That could be the first domino to fall. And what I'm stunned about is I'm stunned it happened there in the UK. I really am. I'm still trying to process it, just so you know. I always try to think it through, like why did that happen? In other words, who's really pulling the levers? So because I often wonder, this is a rhetorical question. Are the politicians over in the UK, do they really fear you? Do they really fear you people over there, Steve? Because they took away your guns years ago, right? So maybe not as bad as Australia, but once the guns are gone, man, it's game over, we can fit quite, I think we can fit quite, we can, well, I think we're only going to have, I would be stunned if we had more than 8 people on the Zoom call. I would just be stunned. Here's Sailboat. No. So Sailboat wants to know, and I can understand why you would ask this question. It's a really great one. Have you ever made lime from eggshells, seashells, or coral? No, but you can. That would be actually kind of fun. So you need to read that book, and it describes in there how to fire the rock. How you would have to get the coral and all that stuff. Everyone, you just need to get it hot enough, and then you turn it into a powder, and you drive off that carbon dioxide, and now you've got calcium oxide. So yeah, you can do it. Absolutely can do it. Okay, I'll check it right now. Hold on. I may have to check my all mail. Let's see here, because sometimes it can go to I use Gmail, and it's a little trick a lot of people don't know is you think everything's coming into your primary folder, but it's not. And I am not seeing it yet, so it could just be slowed down. maybe Sergey Brin is stepping on the flipping air hose in the undersea cable, but I do not see it in my all mail yet. And if I always look at a thing called all mail, because that's where everything goes. Everything's in the all mail folder, but I do not see an email yet from you, but that doesn't mean it's not on the way. So I'm going to hang tight for a little bit. And the other thing you can do, Steve, the other way to do it, and this way I will get for sure, is go to the website. Yeah, exactly. Will found me in the promo tab. Steve, you can go to askthebuilder.com, and up in the navigation, it says Ask Tim. And so just click that and fill out the form, name, email address, and just in the area where you type the question to say, hey, Tim, it's Steve from the UK. That's all you got to say. And then boom, I'll have it. Just double check when you type in the email address, just double check, make sure it's right. I'll continue to check the email here as we continue on here. Okay, so see, Jason wants to know, is it a weekday or weekend Zoom call? So we haven't figured that out yet, Jason. We've not figured that out. What I think we ought to do, I think that I'll announce here, once I hear from Steve, and I'll make an announcement and say, okay, we're going to do a Zoom call, and anybody who wants to be on the Zoom call, you've got to email me. And so then we're going to take, I've been on the list for years. Then we're going to take it off list. We're going to take the discussion off of here, which is public and everybody in the world can see it. And then those who do email me, then I've got your email address. I won't share it with anybody. I'm not going to share it with any of the other people. And then I will send out an email to everybody, blind carbon copy people. And then I'll probably send you to a form on my website, a hidden form, and we decide, what's the best time to do it. I already know we're not going to satisfy everybody. It's impossible. We're going to do the best we can. No, they don't really fear us, but the ministers fear the backbenchers. Okay. Yeah, exactly. Right. I think I know what that means. Is that what you call the people in your, I feel like a dolt, Steve, because I don't, that room where all of your people are and they start yelling and yelling at the prime minister, and they're very boisterous. It's actually very funny to watch. It's really interesting. Is that where the backbenchers are? The people that are sitting up along the wall there? Is that what you mean by backbenchers? I just feel like a dolt because I don't like snobbish. I just don't know that your system that well, and that's bad. I should. So Jason, anyway, we're going to do the Zoom call, and what we could do too, just so you know, I'm sure there's going to be multiple Zoom calls at different times to accommodate, and hopefully a lot of people will be able to be on them. It just depends. Some people are still working stiffs like Steve, and Lorraine, I think, is still working. I mean, we're going to try to accommodate everyone. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Everybody's going to know. I mean, what we have to do, we have to do this Zoom call. It's going to favor Steve. I mean, because for the love of God, I mean, what is it over there, Steve? It's got to be 10 o'clock. It got to be 10. Maybe it's 11 o'clock at night. Are you kidding me? So we need to do it a little earlier. I don't know. Steve's going to set the time. I can already tell you that right now. I think I have an unlimited Zoom account. If I think I do. I'm almost positive I have an unlimited Zoom. I'll make sure of that. And anyway, what we can do is the way people get around that is you can do a Zoom call. If it ends, then we just start another one up. We just come back 5 minutes later. I just email everybody another quick invite, and we just restart the call. So that's how you get around that. Anyway, so it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, let's see. I'm going to check to see if I got Steve's email, and then if I do, I'm going to probably get out of here. Let's see here. I'm going back to the all mail. I am not seeing it. So I'm not seeing Steve's email, and then I don't see anything that's come in from the Ask Tim page. So anyway, I'm just going to keep checking, Steve, if you're still there, buddy. Yeah. Okay. You're off on weekends. So okay, Jason, we just need to find out about Steve. What Steve, and I don't, just so you know, if you've noticed about me, this is just how I am. I don't ask any probing questions here about you. It's not that I don't want to know. This is not the venue to do it in. This is not the place for me to ask about you. All right, because it's all public. I mean, I don't. So what I'm hoping is that when we do the Zoom call, that we all get to know each other a little bit better, and people get to share whatever they want. Some people might not turn on their camera. I get it. I understand. To me, it's going to be delightful just to hear your voice. So, although I do get to see Will. Will and I are playing golf in the spring. I cannot wait. Okay. Right. I got it. You'll explain on the Zoom. I still don't have an email from you, just so you know. So I just keep, like I said, the best way to do it is go to my website, hit the Ask Tim page, and just fill out the form. That's the absolute best way. I will get that. There's no doubt about it. So anyway, crutch word. I'm going to get out of here. I don't have, unless if you have a question about anything, now's the time to ask. I'm happy to answer anything. And otherwise, I'm going to vamoose. I think I have to drive my daughter tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I'm glad I brought this up. I don't know what's going to happen if I'm going to do a live stream tomorrow, because I may be driving back from Boston. I have to drive my daughter down to Boston Logan tomorrow, but I don't know what time yet. And so I don't know if I'm going to be, okay, you filled the form out. Okay, good. Let me check and see right now. That's usually pretty quick. Yep. I see something came in. Hold on a second. Don't go anywhere. Don't worry. I'm not going to share it. Come on. Yep. I got it. I got you, buddy. I got you, Steve. Bingo. Yep. I got you. Everything's cool. Got you, man. All right. I got your email. Awesome. All right. We're good to go. All right. So the next step, Steve, is for you to think about when the best time to do it. I would like to know the day and the time. And so, just have the day and the time, and we can, and when you want to do it. I mean, I am wide open. I've got nothing going on. The only thing that's going to be a little bad for me is I'll tell you this real quickly. On, let's see, what's today? Today's the 19th. So next Tuesday, I have to have something done that I've never had done before. And I have a feeling I'm going to be out of commission for a day. Anyway, I have to have a tooth pulled, one of my upper right wisdom tooth. So I have all my wisdom teeth. And the dentist said it's going to be really easy, not a problem. He just said you're going to be maybe in a little miserable for a day. So there's a really good chance next Tuesday I am not going to be here. And then we'll see how it goes on Wednesday. But it's just that it's a long story. They tried to do a filling on it's a long story. So it's coming out. Anyway, so Josh says, yes, I got your email, Steve. You're good to go, man. Thank you so much. Thank you. By the way, Steve, thanks for your trust. I really appreciate it. In other words, I will not violate that trust. Thanks so much for your email. Josh says, I watch your stream while working still most days. Good for you. That's good for you. Good though. All right. Yeah. Josh, what's going to happen is, I know I have a tough time sometimes with the British accent. I know. We'll do our best. All right. We'll do our best. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, it's taking a while. I don't understand what's going on with the comments sometimes. The comments are slow and I don't get it. I don't know what's going on with that. But Josh, we're going to, like I said, what's going to happen is I'm going to announce, like, okay, we're going to do Zoom call. Anybody who wants to do a Zoom call, better email. In fact, with Josh, like, if you want to do the Zoom, then you need to do it. You need to email me, like, email me now. And I'm going to start a separate little file. I'll have everybody's email address. And then once Steve gives us the green light as to when or what day and what time works best, we'll do a quick poll to see if it works for everyone, or as many as possible. And then I'm going to send out an email. All right. It's that simple. So on it. So let's see. So see now here, Steve, I don't understand what your last comment. You said, how did she get on in London, by the way? I missed something up above. I don't know who she is. I don't know who she is. I don't know. I don't know. Don't know the answer to that question because I don't know how she is. Maybe. Oh, I know. You're talking about my daughter because I thought she might be coming to London. That's right. No, that's she is not flying to London tomorrow. That may happen though. I got it. Yes, I remember now. I remember. All right, and I understand it's going to be soon, but you can't be definitive. I got that. I understand all that. All I'm going to say, if this is happening in real time where you hear me, you're driving, Steve. You are driving the bus. You're driving the bus with respect to when the Zoom call is going to happen because we're building it around you because your time is so far off of us here in the United States, and because of your work schedule. So we're just gonna wait for you, buddy. Anyway, yeah, my daughter's not flying to London tomorrow. She's not. It's going to be here domestically. And unfortunately, I can't really tell you what's going on, but it's really exciting. It's so exciting. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to get out of here. Been on for an hour and 17 minutes, and I don't feel like I talked about anything today. I just feel the double-decker bus. I know. I want to ride one. I want to ride the double-decker bus. Okay, great, Jason. Perfect. All right, good. I'm gonna create my own little Google document in a minute on my Google Drive and start capturing, where I have everybody. Right at this point, I've got 4 people. I have you, Jason. I've got Steve. I've got Will. I've got Lorene. I don't have anybody else's email address. So, and like I said, I know we're going to have fun on the Zoom call, and I'm sure we'll do several of them, quite a few. We'll have some fun there. We can do a lot more on the Zoom call than we can here. I can tell you that. It'll be a lot of fun. We just have to. We'll probably run it like a. I think what might work best. I'm open to suggestions. Is we can run it like a. Our ham. What we do in ham radio on a direct. What we call it a directed net, where we create a rotation. Otherwise, you get too many people trying to talk on top of one another. And anyway, we'll figure it out. Yeah. Okay, I got it. Yeah, I got it. I know it's so weird, man. The chat is not real time. And when I go to set up the live stream, I actually have an option where I can slow down the chat because some people might want to hog the whole chat. In other words, I can force it to where I put to where if you send a chat, you can't send another one for so many minutes or seconds. But I always leave that wide open. I don't put any restrictions on it. So yes, exactly. You're exactly right, Steve. Right. She's not. Yeah, she's not coming to London. Not this trip. But I can guarantee you she will be coming to London. And now that I have your email, because I told her about you, because she was a little tentative. And I said, well, I have a friend that is in London. I actually have 2 or 3. My one, the ad network that's on my site, my ad rep lives in London. Nice guy, nice young man. Now I've got Steve. And, it's just comforting to know that there's somebody there that she could contact if she got in trouble. That's all. That would really, it gives me, her dad, a lot of peace of mind. So anyway, but I can assure you she's going to be coming to London sometime soon, and probably have 3, 4, 5 days off. So, and I'll explain all that to you privately in an email. All right, I'm out of here. Thanks so much, Jason, Will, Steve. Lorene was not here today. Al, great to meet you. Sorry, I goofed up about your. I just read through your chat too fast. Now I understand what you're doing. And we've got Sailboat. Sailboat's going to try to make his own lime. That's awesome, out of coral. It can be done. It might be a fun experiment. You have to read the book to see how hot you have to get the fire. But if the savages did it, we can do it, right? That's what the author of the book called them. Oh my gosh. I have a lot of fun here. All right, I'm out of here. I hopefully will be here tomorrow. So if you don't see an announcement about the live stream, you know that means I'm not here, that I'm on the road driving to or from Boston. All right. You're going to speak just fine. You're going to do great. It's going to be awesome to hear your British accent. And I know I watched a video once of a professional teacher. There must be I don't know, 10, 15 different accents, British accents, from all your different regions around the UK. And she was doing them all. It was really amazing. She was saying the same thing, but it sounded kind of different. It was great. It was great. We have the same thing in America. You hear somebody who talks from the deep South. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. And then you hear somebody talk up in Minnesota. There's a really go online and listen to those dialects here in America. Listen to the southern drawl and in Minnesota, the people in Minnesota, how they talk. I can't do it. I'm not good at it. I have a friend of mine though who's a professional actor in Hollywood. He can do all of it. He knows. He teaches people how to do it. So anyway, all right. I could talk forever. Hey, Jason, see you. Steve, have a great night, buddy. Thanks for sharing your email. Jason, thanks for same thing. Thanks for your trust. I won't violate it. Will, thank you for all you do. And all, everybody else. We got Sailboat, we got Al, we had a bunch of people, really cool people. Dormacies, I know I'm beating that up. I know I'm killing your name. I apologize. Rob, we had a lot of good chat today. It's really, you can see it makes the whole thing come alive. So your chat is what makes all this happen. All right, I'm out of here. I think my daughter just texted me. Let's see. It could be about what time we go to Boston tomorrow. Let's see. Wait a second. I could have, yes. Oh, no. My daughter just wants to know, maybe we should have dinner out tonight. I say yes. I agree. All right. I agree. Steve, see you, buddy. Have a great night, man. I can't wait to see you on the Zoom call. It's going to be awesome. Can't wait to hear you. It's going to be awesome. I really feel like we become good friends. Same to you too, Will, everybody. Will says, we may need to have whiteboards to print what we mean. That's true. All right. Okay, I'm out of here. I got to go get dinner for the family. It's just, these live streams have turned into something I never thought they would. And because it's more relaxed, I'm having a much better time. Yeah, thank you so much, Steve. I know she's a really smart young woman and she's very capable, but you know what? It's just scary times, and it's just nice to know. That there might be somebody, that she could count on. So that's good. That would be great. I guarantee you, I'll tell you about it in email, and you'll get it. You'll get it right away. And I'm just telling you, I guarantee you, she's going to be in London. I can't say when, but very likely in the next 3 months. And she might have a couple of days off. That's the cool thing. Wait till you hear what she's doing. Okay, gotta go. Thanks very much. Appreciate it. I hope to be here tomorrow. No guarantees because of I might be on the road. I'm Tim Carter, and this has been Ask the Builder.